Hi, welcome small steppers. Today is the second video in a 5-part series that I just started doing, all about how to get mentally prepared for a New Year's Eve or New Year's resolution, not Eve resolution. And if you don't have a New Year's resolution, don't worry about it. I don't either. It doesn't have to be New Year's. It could be any time that you decide you want to make some sort of positive change in your health. But a lot of people are thinking about those things right now, so I thought I would address the New Year's resolutions for those of you who are doing them. So if you missed it last time, the first part, I'll do a quick little review. Oh, I almost forgot. For those of you who don't know me, forgot to introduce myself. My name's Christine Garrison, and I am a health coach, and I help midlife women who are done with dieting to stop their sabotaging beliefs and behaviors and learn to take practical, small steps in their health so that they can feel younger as they get older. So that's me. Little quick recap about the first video in this series. That was all about making sure that if you are wanting to do a New Year's resolution, that it's you that actually wants to do it and not your doctor or your spouse or your family or your friends or your kids or your neighbors, right? You have to be the one that wants to do it. Because ultimately the buck stops with you, and you're the adult, you're the grown-up, and you don't have to do a New Year's resolution if you don't want to. You don't have to change your health. You don't have to improve your blood pressure. You don't have to do any of those things. Those are things that are your choice. So make sure that it is something that you want to do. Also with the first step, I did ask for you to grab a notebook or a journal to be able to record your responses, so you will need that notebook and journal today also. I asked you to kind of brainstorm some ideas of what are some things you could do to improve your health. Just brainstorm, like get more sleep, reduce my stress, get more exercise, eat better. Those are the obvious ones, but brainstorm a bunch of ideas, and then to pick one thing that you think you want to actually work on to change your health. So continuing on that theme, today is all about awareness, getting more clarity about the answer to the question, what do you want to change? So getting more focused on that. And I typed out some of the questions that I'm going to be telling you in the description. I don't know if that's above or below, but they're typed out. So the very first thing you want to write down in your journal is I want you to fill out this sentence, and it is, my life would be better if I blank, because it would blank. Currently, I am blank. So let me give you an actual example to make it more sense. So last time I talked about Betty. We're going to use Betty as our imaginary client. And Betty has decided, yes, she wants to make a change, and she thinks she's going to, look at changing her exercise and changing something about exercise. So here's how Betty would fill out that sentence. Betty says, my life would be better if I started exercising because it would be good for my health. Currently, I don't exercise. So that's how Betty would fill out that question or that sentence. Then step 2 that you want to write down in your journal is you want to go over the pros and the cons of that, making that change. So Betty has decided her change, maybe her resolution is going to be she wants to start exercising because she knows it's going to improve her health. Okay, what are the positive things that she can expect or she hopes to get from exercising? Write those down. Write them down in your journal, in your notebook. So here's Betty's examples of some positive things she would expect from exercising. She's going to feel better. She might sleep better. She'll probably manage her stress better. And she knows it's going to have a positive impact on her overall health. So those are the positives of starting to exercise. What are the consequences now of not exercising? So what Betty's going to write down is what happens if she doesn't make any changes in her exercise and she just keeps not exercising. She keeps doing what she's doing. What are the consequences of that down the road? In a month, 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years? What's going to happen if nothing changes? Well, some of her consequences could be, for Betty, if she does not start exercising, could be health getting worse, okay? She could be getting out of breath more. not being able to keep up with her family when they maybe go on a vacation. She can't walk as far with the rest of them. She could start getting more tired more easily, and basically, yeah, not be able to keep up with her kids, her grandkids, that kind of a thing, and just be out of breath and feeling tired. So those would be some of her consequences. And this step, this second video, it's just about raising the awareness. So it's just making sure whatever your thing that you maybe want to make a change with a New Year's resolution, or a resolution that you come up with on January 18th or March 15th, doesn't matter the date, but let's say you're doing New Year's, what is it you want to change, and start really getting more awareness about how is that thing impacting your life right now? How do you want it to be changed and be different in the future? And that's all you're doing today. That's it, just getting that awareness. So do those step 1 and step 2. Again, I wrote those out in the description or above or below. Fill that out in a notebook or journal. Next video in this 5-part series will be video 3, and that's going to be all about emotions. And let me tell you, that's going to be the kicker. Because having the knowledge and information about something is very important. Obviously, we need to know about something before we can do anything about it. But having knowledge and information does not necessarily lead to any action whatsoever. You know this. We all know this, right? It's when we become emotionally attached to something, or we have an emotional reaction about it, that's what can lead us into action. Not what we logically think about it, how it makes us feel is what can kick us into high gear. So that is going to be the next Facebook Live, all about how to answer some questions to get more of that deep kernel of how do you feel about this emotionally, okay? Hope that was helpful. Rewind, re-listen to it if you missed any of that, of the questions, but I did write them down. And I will see you next time for number 3 in the Facebook Live series on getting mentally prepared for your New Year's resolution. Bye.